Hey guys, welcome to my hi-fi listening space. So this is my channel introduction, and welcome to my channel. So I'd like to talk a little bit about why I'm starting this channel and some of my goals with this channel. I'll talk a little bit about my components. I might do another video where I go more in depth about each individual component, or maybe talk a little bit more about why I have things set up the way that I have currently. Just to like lay this down, I think everything in this system is sort of a culmination of my experiences with listening to various gear. And I think everything is sort of in flux in a sense that I always have goals to improve that system, or not even necessarily improve, but I'm looking constantly for what is going to make the most amount of music sound good across multiple formats. I think my philosophy as it pertains to system creation is I'm very interested in creating a balanced system. I've had a range of components integrated into this current system with these current speakers, and my experiences have led me to kind of seek for something that is ultimately very balanced and maybe even a little bit more mid-range centric. And there's one piece of equipment in my system that really I think allows me to flex between that, creating systems that are made for apartments. There's a lot of people with creating a focus on having a dedicated listening room, but this space is my living room, and it's kind of important to me that it maintains its use as a living room for people to come, sit, enjoy, gather, those kinds of things. Even though, music, I love it, and I'm an audiophile, I still want to respect other people's aesthetics. And I briefly touched on this a bit, but again, I'll just kind of reiterate this idea that I have. But it's really about creating a multi-tonal system. And I'm very interested in how can I create a system that allows me with minor tweaks here or there to really flex between what I perceive as a laid back sound, and then also there are those moments when you want to have a in your face rage. I kind of recognize that in my own listening habits there are those moods where I want to put on some shit, crank it to 11, and then there are those other times that I rather just want to come home and put on some smooth jazz, kick my feet up, and really lay back into the couch. I don't necessarily think I have a preference for one or the other. I think that it's about in the moment, in that particular, what am I looking for in that particular mood, or even with that particular piece of music. I listen to a wide range of music. I listen to a lot of electronic-based music. I also listen to a lot of hip-hop, and I can listen to a lot of single instrument, high-end audiophile recordings one day, and then the next day, I want to listen to the roots. So I think recognizing this spectrum of sound across wide variety of genres and saying well, no, I want to have a system designed for hip hop, or I want to have a system designed for jazz piano. I think that ultimately those are two different scenarios. Okay, now let me briefly just talk a little bit about the various components in my system. And so for the sources in my system, I've got a turntable, a CD player, and a cassette deck. My turntable is a Riga P3 2016. And I have put some modifications on this turntable. The feet that I have is from Michael Lim, and I'll put the link in the description down below of where you can buy those feet. But effectively, I bought these feet because the floor in my apartment is not level. So if like you're wondering why the camera isn't perfectly level or whatnot, just kind of understand that that's pretty much why. And so yeah, so these feet just allow me to adjust it. And then the other thing I've done is I have upgraded the belts, and then I've upgraded the turntable mat. I have what's called a Funk Firm Acromat. Again, this was a recommendation by John Darko on YouTube. This turntable sounded fantastic when I had it, although my initial impressions were that it lacked a little bit of mid-bass and weight and authority. Like, one of the hallmarks of a Riga turntable is that it is this very lightweight, airy instrument, and that gives you so much in the realm of rhythm and pace. I'm feeding my turntable. I've got a Riga moving magnet Mark V phono, and then above that I've got the matching power supply. I recently got those. Those aren't the models that came with the turntable per se when it came out, but I recently upgraded those after like so much agony, right? Because that's like $800 worth of electronics just for this turntable. It already was like $1,500 when I purchased it. My cassette player is just a realistic SCT-34. This is again, this is just like a cheap $40 Goodwill find. And then below that is, again, just another cheap Blu-ray Goodwill find. Let me talk a little bit about amplification. I have two amplifiers, and the reason for that is because I have two sets of speakers. My main amplifier that is powering my main set of speakers is my Line Magnetic LM34IA. I bought this used, and they do come retail with EL34 tubes. And I believe you might be able to purchase it also with KT88. When I purchased this, I got it used at a local shop near me, and it had the Gold Lion KT88 tubes already in it. So it was like $400 worth of upgrades in the tubes. And I was in the market looking for a tube amplifier, and I was shopping for, actually it was a Rogue Audio Kronos Magnum 3 or 2, if I could find one used. That was the goal. And then my shop got this, and then the 508, which is like the 300Bs. And I tested this out, and then basically just said, I want it. So yeah, I love this amplifier, and it is such a great pairing with the Kef Signature. And then my other amps are these Fuzzy Audio V3 monos, and these power these JBL 8216As. These speakers are made for like a studio environment, and I got these back in, I want to say 2012, 13, over 10 years ago. And these are some of the first speakers that I ever purchased, and I've just like dragged them from apartment to apartment over the years, and I can't quite get rid of them, probably because they're JBL. And they were some of the first speakers I ever had. My headphone amplifier in this setup, I've got a Shit Asgard 3 and a topping A50. Yeah, what can I say about those? I mean, I needed a headphone amp for this setup out here. I don't use them too much, but I am utilizing them as little preamps. So I'm using the Shit Asgard as a bridge between my main pre and my Fuzzy Audio. So the Asgard is effectively just functioning as a preamp. So that's kind of a summary and just like a brief description, breaking down some goals and like where I want to go with this channel. If you're really interested in creating like an aesthetic forward approach to audio that I think has a sense of realism an understanding for space and what you can actually fit into a space, um, and yeah, and if you are interested in creating a system with the focus of um, balance and modality, and thinking about how can I make all my music sound good, not just that um, uber great audiophile recording, then please subscribe to my channel, and have a good day. Bye.